Do you think you're ready to become a full-time business owner? Few small businesses survive more than a couple of years, and everything that happens or doesn't happen in and with your business is on you. That's a huge responsibility, but it can bring you huge satisfaction as well. For that to happen though, you need to be clear on a few things from the outset. So let's talk about those. Hello and welcome to the Savvy Corner, where we talk about managing your money, your business, and your mind around it. My name is Alisa and I run a financial coaching and consulting business. My journey to full-time entrepreneurship has been fairly uneventful, but looking back, there are some things I wish I knew at the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey which would have made the transition easier. That is what we will discuss in this video as part of the series Ready for Entrepreneurship, where I share practical tips and strategies for making the jump to entrepreneurship smoother. I've interviewed some amazing business owners on the things they wish they had known before making this transition, and I will share their wisdom and mine during the series. Today's video will highlight why it's important to have clarity in business and what you need to focus on when starting out as an entrepreneur. I want to start by talking about expectations. Perhaps you've been running your business as a side gig for a while, or you've read about what it's like to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you've watched some videos about it on YouTube. I can pretty much guarantee that you will experience it differently than what you expect it to be. Let's just get this out of the way. It's not glamorous, not in the beginning anyway. If you're imagining waking up at 4 a.m. and then meditating for an hour, going for a run, you jump in the shower, come out, prepare yourself a rainbow breakfast bowl, and you do an hour of journaling before starting your day at 8 a.m., then I'm sorry to disappoint, but it's not always like that. Sometimes I work until 10 p.m. in the evening, and by the time I go to bed, it's already midnight. So waking up at 4 a.m. the next day to do it all over again is simply not an option. I'd rather get a couple more hours of sleep and not be a zombie all day. Also, you need to be prepared to do other things in addition to your specialty and the reason why you started the business. And by other things, I mean admin work, business development, finances, networking. Let me take the example of a coaching business so I can illustrate this better. As an owner of a coaching business, you will not be spending all your time coaching. Unless you have a team behind you, you can expect to spend up to 50% or even more of your time in the beginning marketing the business, talking to potential clients, putting together programs and proposals, and so on. And finally, with regards to expectations, being the best at what you do and being an expert in your field doesn't guarantee that your business will be successful. You need to develop your business development skills, which we will talk about in a moment. But before we do that, however, there is something else we need to touch upon, and that is clarity. Clarity has become one of those cliche words that gets thrown around all the time, so if you've rolled your eyes when I mentioned it, I know exactly where you're coming from. But people refer to it so often for a reason, and that is because without clarity, you will always be in a limbo state of figuring it out. Figuring out what you want, who your clients are, what they want, how much to charge, what is your positioning on the market, where your business is going, etc. I've already hinted to what I mean by clarity, so let's dissect this even further. First of all, you want to have clarity around your motivation for starting the business in the first place. As Simon Sinek would say, what's your why? Without a strong motivation or purpose, it will be difficult for you to create a vision and a mission for your business and to maintain a sustained effort as a business owner to progress your endeavor. Secondly, you want to be very clear on what you do and who you do it for and be able to sum that up in a concise way. I filmed an entire video on how to determine your niche and ideal client, which I will link for you on the screen and in the description box below. Clarity in this area will require some research with regards to your target market, the problem that they are facing, and how to put together an offering that helps solve those problems. You might be surprised to hear this, but this research will also involve getting to know yourself better and your preferred way of getting involved in helping your clients find a solution. With this kind of research comes another benefit, which is getting clarity on your brand. What does your business stand for? What are its values? What words or phrases describe it the best? What colors match the vibe of your business, and so on? Once you have clarity on your why, your niche, and your brand, you will be able to strategically look at your business and decide where you want to take it and how you will achieve that. Some of the business owners I talked to mentioned the continuity of their business and it being able to operate after they retired. Clarity is hugely important when it comes to maintaining your focus to reach whatever objectives you have for your business and not be tempted to fall into the trap of bright, shiny object syndrome. In the words of an entrepreneur I interviewed, being clear on your what and your why matters most, way more than the what ifs. Another important element that the people I interviewed mentioned was to focus on one thing at a time. This doesn't just refer to your day-to-day tasks, but to what your business is about. You might want to do coaching and consulting, teaching, training, and development all at once because you think they complement each other and you don't want to limit yourself and your sources of income. And I agree, you shouldn't. But in the beginning, you must focus on one thing only, otherwise you will overwhelm your audience and potential clients and possibly overwhelm yourself too. One entrepreneur I interviewed summed this up nicely. Dream big, but execute small. Until you start getting known for one thing, your efforts should not be wasted on doing everything for everyone. This is why it's so important to have a niche. When I started, I was known for financial coaching for personal finances. And I did that for a while before branching out into coaching people on their business finances, doing business mentoring, teaching, consulting, and all the other things that I do in my business. It was only after people got to know me for my financial coaching work that I got the opportunity to expand my business with the advantage of adding on offers that I knew were in demand because people were asking for those services specifically. If you're enjoying the video so far, please give it a big thumbs up. This video was inspired by the tips and advice shared by these amazing entrepreneurs. I will leave their contact details below if you want to check out their work, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank them for their contribution. I promised we would talk about business development, which is something a lot of the interviewees mentioned. When it comes to this, the first thing I want you to know is that there is no magic formula that you can apply which will get you your dream business in record time. So if you receive any offers to purchase programs or services that will guarantee 6 figures in 6 weeks or whatever nonsense, please be extra vigilant. Business development takes time and consistency, and it requires clarity, which we've already talked about. There are a few principles you need to know though. Firstly, people buy the benefits, not the features. So your marketing content and your sales conversations should all be around the results of working together and how you can help people or organizations solve the particular problems that they are dealing with. Speaking about marketing content, the sooner you start creating content, the better. And knowing the next principle I will mention will help you. You need to be aware of the fact that people are willing to spend money on what they want, not necessarily on what they need. So your content should reflect this. Don't talk about what you think they need, talk about what they want, which is usually a solution to a problem. At the same time, whatever the solution that you propose is, make sure it doesn't overwhelm your potential clients. This happened to me in the beginning when I was trying to offer my clients so much to make my services and products really valuable to them that for some it was too much. I had to learn that something simple, easy to follow, and concise is sometimes more valuable than a complex offering packed full of information with fancy graphs and tools. Just because I like that kind of stuff doesn't mean that my clients will. Who would have thought, right? So far we've talked about expectations, clarity, focusing on one thing, and business development. There is one more thing I want to touch upon in this video, and that is opportunities. Sometimes there are opportunities coming your way. Opportunities. and you will need to learn how to sift through them, although you might be tempted to say yes to everything. We will talk about filtering opportunities, ideas, and people in a future video. But sometimes these opportunities won't come your way, and you will have to create them for yourself, which is why networking is so important, and having a support system around you, which I talked about in the previous video in this series. I will link it for you on the screen and in the description box. You cannot create opportunities without clarity, without focus, and without working on your business, not just in it. I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, you'd be pleased to know that there are others like it in the Ready for Entrepreneurship series. I linked 2 of them on the screen, so go check them out if you've got the time. That's it from me for today though. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!